Olande because Zimbabwe muhle Moria Zimbabwe lengali chona njani mthokazo muhle Zimbabwe muhle kwaz why Moria Zimbabwe. If you're tuning in right now, welcome Moria Zimbabwe. You're tuned into Live Talk The Connection, brought to you by Studio 7, a Voice of America, on Tuesday the 1st of February 2021. Mthokazo muhle Zimbabwe muhle Moria Zimbabwe. I'm your host, Mike Hove. Once again, mthokazo muhle Zimbabwe muhle wonke umuntu ongenayo kuhlelo kune munhu wese akuphinda mchirongwa thina umgamchira mchirongwa chedu chevechidiki. Welcome to The Connection, Studio 7's very own youth program that targets tackling anything and everything youth related. Moria Zimbabwe, we're coming to you from my apartment in Washington DC, and unfortunately this is a pre-recorded broadcast. Nasi mchirongwa chedu chevechidiki namhlanje kuhlelo. Tonight on The Connection, we focus on the National Integrated Youth Program launched by President Emmerson Mnangagwa in January 2022. And of course, we're going to be touching on other government youth-led initiatives that focus on empowering the youth of the nation. Now, once again, unfortunately, Moria Zimbabwe, tonight's program is a pre-recorded broadcast. What this means is you, our loyal listeners, will be unable to call us alive, like you do every night. However, this conversation is still going to be broadcasted on our 3 Facebook pages, that being VOA Debele, VOA Shona Ganyelabu, VOA Studio 7, as we speak in Moria Zimbabwe. So don't forget, you can pass your interaction there. You can leave us your comments on our 3 Facebook pages. For our YouTube fanatics, we're broadcasting on our YouTube page. The official page is at VOA Zimbabwe. I repeat, at VOA Zimbabwe. So for everybody that loves YouTube, you can catch us, you can catch The Connection with Mike Hove on YouTube. We're also broadcasting on our 3 web pages as we speak, that being www.voazimbabwe.com, www.voazimbabwe.com, and of course, www.voashona.com. So, Moria Zimbabwe, lingakhohli ngempela ukufitizela lapha yokubhala ukuthi share, msakanganywe kuthinya phaye phakanzi share. Do not forget to press the share button on Moria Zimbabwe so that we watch the program in our numbers. And most importantly, like, don't forget to press the like button so that I was with Chokwadi Moria Zimbabwe like so. We're together here on The Connection. And also feel free to write your comments in the comment section so that once again we get to see your feedback. So yilo ludaba esilalo kuhlelo lwethu labasakhulayo zulukandaba lingakhohlwi abhalani imibono yenu sikhona kuhlelo lwethu labasakhulayo lilami uMichael Hove. So ukungena kuhlelo lwethu namhlanje zulukandaba sikhangela indaba le eyokuthi abantu abasakhulayo zikhona inhlelo ezikhona elizweni ezijonge ukuthuthukisa intsha yakwele Zimbabwe. Sakandiyo nyaya yathukuzeya Moria Zimbabwe thangethine vechidiki avachanga vachipinda pano pachirongwa chedu chevechidiki vachiziya nyaya iyi vachitiudza maondro avo nezvenyaya yekusimudzirwa kwevechidiki. Tinonzwa hurumende yemutungamiriri wenyika vaEmmerson Mnangagwa vachiti aiwa vane zvirongwa zvakati wandei zvakanangana nekusimudzira vechidiki. Saka tichange tichizeya chimwe chirongwa chakatangwa nemutungamiriri wenyika President Emmerson Mnangagwa muna January gore rino chiri pasi pezita rekuti National Integrated Youth Program. So we're going to be joined by some Ministry of Agriculture officials. We're going to be hearing from Honorable Kirsty Coventry, who is the Minister of Youth, and we're going to be hearing from other young people. But as usual, we kick off our program with an update on COVID-19. Now, according to the most recent information released by Zimbabwe's Ministry of Health and Childcare, the current stats are as follows. The Ministry of Healthcare says Zimbabwe currently has 229,666 COVID cases, 219,414 recoveries, and 5,333 deaths. Now, last night alone, Moria Zimbabwe, the Ministry of Health and Childcare reported 206 new COVID-19 cases. It reported 1,081 recoveries, and it reported 1 death. Now, to date, Moria Zimbabwe, the latest stats say To date, 4,270,483 people have taken the COVID-19 jab, and that is the first jab. However, the number of people that are fully vaccinated is 3,299,628. So those are the latest COVID-19 stats released by Zimbabwe's Ministry of Health and Childcare. But whilst in the conversation of the latest stats and, of course, the COVID-19 pandemic in Zimbabwe, whilst we're giving you updates on what's happening in the nation, in a recent announcement that was given or passed by acting President Constantino Chiwenga, he has reviewed and amended the COVID-19 lockdown in Zimbabwe. Now, some of the mentioned amendments are as follows. The first one that is there, number one, says schools will reopen on February 7. So that's one of the latest updates for a lot of our parents and students and educators. Schools will be reopening February 7. Another amendment that is there is businesses are allowed to return to offices. However, they must ensure that COVID-19 preventative protocols are observed. So for more of these mentioned amendments, Muria Zimbabwe, there's about 12 of them. Head over to the Ministry of Information's Twitter page, and they're going to be having all those amendments available on the Twitter page. Now, in the same spirit of the COVID-19 pandemic, Muria Zimbabwe, of course, as usual, government is always, time and time again, releasing infomercials that target towards educating Zimbabweans on the COVID-19 pandemic. So without wasting time, let us head over to one of the infomercials that was done by the Ministry of Health and Childcare. The next clip you're about to watch, once again, is courtesy of the Ministry of Health and Childcare. It's of President Emmerson Mnangagwa urging citizens to take the COVID-19 vaccine.
I'm Emmerson Mnangagwa, the President of Zimbabwe. Since 2020, Zimbabwe, like the rest of the world, has been fighting COVID-19. We have lost many of our loved ones, and those who have survived are still coming to terms with the trauma. Our way of life has changed as we adjust to the new normal. Many of you have been asking, is there a way out? Is there protection against COVID-19? Well, I'm here to tell you that you and I have a role to play in this fight. COVID-19 vaccines have been delivered to Zimbabwe. These vaccines help minimize the risk of infection and are being administered all over Zimbabwe free of charge. You and I need to defeat the disease, so get vaccinated now. This is our stand against COVID-19. Together we will conquer. Get vaccinated now.
Well, Muria Zimbabwe, you're hearing there from Umongameli Emmerson Mnangagwa manzwa kamashoko emutungamiriri wenyika vaEmmerson Mnangagwa vachikurudzira zvaro zveZimbabwe kana kuti vagari vose vari munyika vachiti aiwa budai neuwandu hwenyu muchinobayiwa nhomba inodzivirira COVID-19. Liaiswa ngempela okushiwo ngumongameli Emmerson Mnangagwa ekhuthaza jikelele kwele Zimbabwe ukuthi hayi uyasho ngempela ukuthi izulu kanti abaphumani ngobunenge benu liyohlatshwa leli jekiseni elijonge ukuvikela ukumemetheka kwe-COVID-19. But now, whilst on the discussion of COVID-19, to see the challenges that are faced by other African nations, because Zimbabwe is not the only country facing the COVID-19 pandemic, so is other Africans, so is the world over. Let us head over to a report which was produced by VOA, which focuses on challenges faced by Kenyans. And of course, these challenges pertain to the COVID-19 pandemic. Let's head over to this VOA report.
Achom Ekeno is a herder in Isiolo, Kenya. Like thousands in this community, he does not believe COVID-19 is a threat or that he needs to get vaccinated.
We don't know about this disease or its medicine. All we know is that it attacks people who appear fat and healthy. It is a disease for the rich. But for us, we don't believe in it, and we won't take the vaccines.
Health officials say Isiolo's vaccination rate was just 7% at the beginning of 2022, and that many other communities also have low rates. Local leaders and the Ministry of Health attribute reluctance to get the vaccine to misinformation, religious and cultural factors, and illiteracy.
People are informed that if you take the vaccine, you will die after 2 years. And the vaccine is there to reduce the population of the black people. The vaccine is there so that people don't live long. And some of those things made people to be scared of taking the vaccine.
Kenya aims to vaccinate 60% of its 55 million people by the end of 2022. Authorities say about 11 million people had been vaccinated by the end of 2021. While the country is making progress, the head of Kenya's COVID-19 task force says vaccines are going to waste because too many people are still reluctant to get the jab.
The main cause of wastage is lack of people showing up to take the vaccine. So the only solution to reduce wastage is strong social mobilization.
In the counties of Isiolo, Marsabit and Moyale, officials offered people in pastoral communities both the COVID-19 vaccination and medicines and vaccines for their livestock.
It is working very well. And you know, they are not resisting on their livestock. We are telling them, why do you value your livestock more than your own life? Let the livestock get their treatment, then you also do it. We follow them where they are. You know, our people here that are pastoralists, so they move with livestock.
But the program is currently on pause due to a shortage of animal vaccines and medicines. The Isiolo County Veterinary Department says it will resume the program when the inventory is restocked. Brenda Molinya for VOA News, Nairobi, Kenya.
Now, to delve into tonight's discussion, Maria Zimbabwe, earlier on, I touched on the fact that tonight on The Connection, we're going to be focusing on youth empowerment in Zimbabwe. Now, last month, President Emmerson Mnangagwa launched the National Integrated Youth Program, which focuses on empowering Zimbabwean youth in farming. Now, whilst in the spirit of focusing on youth empowerment, we're joined by John Muchenje, who is an agriculture entrepreneur. Muchenje talks to us more about this program that was launched by President Emmerson Mnangagwa, and of course, how the youth of the nation stand to gain from this program. So let's head over to a telephone conversation that I had with Muchenje about the topic at hand.
Okay, thank you very much. If you look how the program is structured, it is going to benefit every province in the country, where the president himself has instructed all the provincial state ministers to make sure that they reserve or they allocate the youth 500 hectares per province, so that this land will be benefiting our youth on a personal basis. For example, it will be my youth angachinda pa land on batches. This year, papinda vamwe train over wabuda chipinza vamwe. So I think all my youth are my province, they are going to benefit. And then secondly, the president also gave about 700 AFAS to the same program, where my youth are going also to benefit from the same platform. It also, he has instructed the Minister of Finance to make sure that these incubation centers are fully financed in terms of infrastructure and also resources to make sure that they are productive.
Mr. Muchenje, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us on our program here. Now, you just touched on heifers. The program that we're specifically focusing on right now will be distributing 698 heifers to be exact, meaning 698 young people are going to be benefiting from this program. Could you kindly explain to our audience how the program is going to be working?
Okay, it's going to be a pass-on project where, for example, first 698 to be exact are going to be identified, And after the heifers is multiplied, we are going to pass on to another youth. So we'll see year in, year out, youth benefiting from this program. So every year we are going to expect another batch to benefit, until it has reached maybe times 7 or times 10, which means we are looking at about 600,000, 600 to 1 million youth to benefit from this project.
Now, speaking of these young people, how are the young people that are going to be part of this program identified?
Yeah, thank you. I think there was a call from the Minister of Agriculture for young people who are interested in agriculture to come on board to be trained in terms of how to take care of these livestock. So I think quite a number of young people got their certificates. Those who were willing. The call was public. The ministry has actually circulated the call in several WhatsApp groups, on national radio and the stuff, to actually encourage young people to come and get trained. So the first beneficiaries are going to be the people that have gone through the training stage. Both in agriculture, you've seen that information is power in terms of knowing how to manage your crops, how to manage your livestock.
Now, I need you to expand on that there, Mr. Muchenje. Does someone have to be part of a specific profession for them to apply for this program? For example, does one need to have a vested interest and qualification in agriculture for them to be part of this program and benefit from it?
Okay, thank you very much. For starters, myself, I'm an accountant by profession. Those I'm studying development studies, but I'm a farmer, as you know. And I've passion in agriculture, and I followed the steps in terms of reading books, visiting my field days, and also getting short courses. So for you to be, we don't expect you to see an accountant in nursing or being a doctor. You need to be trained how to do the doctorate things. That's the same with agriculture. We need professionals, people that are capacitated in agriculture. If you see how sometimes we put ourselves in a drought scenarios, it's not because we don't have land or don't have resources, but we have got people that doesn't have any knowledge to do with farming, occupying vast tract of lands. So I think I'm happy with the policy that the government has put in place, that all the A2 farmers should be managed by a qualified farm manager. You can be a farm owner, but you need a qualified farm manager to own your farm, to be at your farm and manage your farm. So I think with this policy that the Minister of Agriculture has brought into place, I think we're going to see our improved agricultural productivity soon.
Mm-hmm. Now, there's an entire discussion behind the requirements for some of these government-led programs. There's a lot of young people whom are of the understanding that for you to benefit from government-led programs, you have to somehow be affiliated to ZANU-PF. Be it you're a card holding member or you're related to someone who's a card holding member, etc. Now, I know we've had you on this program several times commenting on this issue, but I'd like to delve into it again. What can you say to these young people who are of this opinion so that for them, they start thinking otherwise and look towards vesting into these programs, regardless of their political affiliations?
Okay, thank you very much. I think the first thing is to hear what the president said when he was launching the program in Kwekwe. He said the new dispensation, he didn't say ZANU-PF. The new dispensation, which is the Second Republic of Zimbabwe, is open for business, has embraced the youth to participate in development issues, in political, in governance issues. So we are saying, as young people, we need to change our perception around issues to do with youth inclusion and participation in the development processes. When we say youth, we are not referring to ZANU-PF youth, because we have got youth from ZANU-PF, we have got youth from MDC Alliance, youth from MDCT, youth from LEAD, even youth from MDC recently split from Dr. Kupe. So I think all those young people, when we're talking of Zimbabwe, we need to demystify or remove the political barrier or the political blinkers. To say, I'm a Zimbabwean, I've got the right to get a birth certificate, right to get a passport, right to get a license, right to get land, right to education, right to everything, right to be empowered, right to access loans from Empower Bank, right to apply land from the agriculture. Like I said before, the good part with the Minister of Forms, when you want to apply land, there is no way where it's talking about your political affiliation or social. It's just your name, required province, hectare you want, what are you going to do on the land, your cash for projection. They don't ask which party do you belong to, which means this is it's a non-political thing. Like I also said earlier, that the Ministry of Agriculture is at one Gungunyani building close to State House, and ZANU-PF offices are at down close to the hotel. So you can see there's a difference between the Ministry of Agriculture and ZANU-PF. So I think as young people, we need to change our perceptions. When we see these government programs, let's embrace them. Let's benefit from them. The president is our one president. He's president of Zimbabwe. He's not the president of a particular party. Thank you.
Aiwa takunzwa zvakanaka vamuchenje ngati mbozi yainyaya nerurimi rwamai neshona handiti ndanchikumbira kuti mutsananguriro kune vateereri nezvechirongwa cheNational Integrated Youth Program icho chakanangana nekusimudzira vechidiki munyika kunyanya avo vanoita zvokurima.
Okay, ndinotenda. President wedu vaMnangagwa vakalonja chirongwa chavakaparura where ma-ministers of state esangaripo. Chandofarira ndechekuti ma-ministers of state ndo vakapiwa instruction na president kuti kumaprovinsi kwenyu ngakuve neland inoita 500 hectares inova reserved for ma-youth. Havana kutaura kuti ma-youth eZANU-PF, vakati ma-youth eZimbabwe, which means ndiri kuti ma-youth ese eZimbabwe ngati ndiyo kumaprovinsi kwedu tinonyoresa pari kunyoreswa pacho. Kana dziri mombe ngatinyoresei, kana kuri kupinda ma-education center ngatipindei. Ma-centers aya akaisirwa kuti isusu sema-youth tibenefite mari. Hurumende yedu through vabati vedu vehomwe vaMutuli Ncube vachaisa mari ipapo yekuti vavandudze ma-centers edu through kuisa machinery, ma-irrigation facilities. Change titrainwa ipapo ngande tinodzidzira kurima nyika ndeyedu. President vakataura futi vakati atore advantage ye20% quota yakaiswa kuagriculture kuti sema-youth pese panopuwa land, let's make sure kuti 20% tiri kubenefita sema-youth. Zvakafanana zvinoitwa kuma veterans, 20% of everything that is being chiri kupiwa ma veterans ari kuwana 20%. Same has happened to my youth. Pese pari kupuwa land sema-youth, president vedu vakataura 20% ngaende kuma-youth. Nemombe dzakaparurwa napresident 698 dziri kuenda kuma-youth. It's a person scheme. Ukapiwa usarambe nayo, haisi yako. Unopiwa ikaita mwana usara nemwana wopa umwe, chingodaro kusvika tese tabenefita kusvikira mumbeya kunonzi kugumaura isingachazvari.
Mukutanga kwechirongwa ichi mambotsanangura mukabata nyaya mukati pari kutanga chirongwa ichi vechidiki vanosvikavo 698 ndivo vachanga vachibatsirwa nechirongwa ichi. Asi tichitarisa kuti munyika mune vechidiki vakawanda vanodarika miriyoni. Ndanchikumbirawo kuti mutsananguriro vateereri kuti chirongwa ichi chichishanda sei, uyezve vamwewo vechidiki vasiri nhengo yebhechi rekutanga re698 vachanga vachibatsirwawo sei nechirongwa ichi.
Okay, ndinotenda mukoma Hove. Chirongwa ichi chakatanga zvakanaka. Ministry of Agriculture vakadanidzira vechidiki kuti uyai kuno mudzidzisiwe kuchengeta zvipfuwo, which is ma-livestock, mombe dzenyu dzingava mbudzi dzingava chii. Vakakwanisa kuenda kweko vakaenda vakanotrainwa, mazuva vakatrainwa vakapuma certificates avo. So avo vakatrainwa ndo vachitanga kuwana mombe, but vadziwana zvanamboziva kuti hadzisi dzavo, havafaniri kuramba nadzo. Saka wese achapuwa ng'ombe, hurumende ichange neregista racho rekuziva kuti mukoma John vapiwa tsiru, mukoma Hove vapiwa tsiru, mukoma Nenge vapiwa tsiru. Panopera gore tinoespecta kuti tsiru richange rabereka, imusara muine mhuri yotogwa ipiwa umwe muyouth. Toda kuti mayouth akawanda abenefite process yacho yese.
Pane imwe nyaya ndanchida kubata vamuchenje, nyaya yeuori. Kazhinji tinonzwa zvirongwa zvehurumende zvichisangana neuori. Zvii zvingaitwa mukuona kuti chirongwa ichi hachikanganiswe neuori?
Chekutanga ndoda kutenda bato reZAC nebasa rari kuitwa. Ndakanangana nezvaitika paCVR kuti vanhu vaiona vaitora nguva kuti vawane manamba plates, nobva vapindira ikone zvakufamba zvakanaka. Kumwe kwasara kuti ZAC imbouya ichivhakachira inyaya dzeallocation yeland. Vechidiki ndinoona vachicomplaina panguva yakareba kuti minda iri kutengesiwa haisi kupiwa zvakanaka. But ndinofarira kuti basa riri kubatwa neministry yeagriculture nenew minister akauya Dr. Masuka naPemseko Dr. Bazera vari kutraya kuti zvifambe zvakanaka. asi vezake vakanga vachipinda isi vechidiki tikaona pari kuita corruption vezake varipo ngativabatei tivaudze kuti minista Nhingi vari kutengesa munda oro district official Nhingi ari kutengesa munda andina sokuti urwu hunopera tikadaro kusivhiara mazuva ano kwakufamba nhasi Sunday kwanzi vari kushanda manambulance ari kupuwa mota saka I think tikaita the same approach kuma birth certificate the same approach kuma passport the same approach kunyaya dzeland nyika yedu inoendera mberi because corruption igonye guru rekuti nyika yedu isaendere mberi ndinofara zvakambotaurwa naambassador vamatema danda vakati ivo nhasi uno tikamira kuita corruption munyika medu mangwana tinenge tetapa pane chimwe chidanho which means vaitoziva kuti kune vanhu vari kuita corruption munyika medu but tikambomira kudaro zaki nemapurisa nemauto wese hurumende tikabatana kuti munhu wese ari kuita corruption ngaavharwe apinde mujere nyika yedu inomira zvakanaka.
Ko kune vechidiki vane maondero ekuti zvirongwa zvehurumende zvakangonangana nekubatsira vechidiki avo vanotyidzana nebato reZANU-PF, ndanchikumbira kuti mutipe maondero nezvemashoko aya.
Okay, thank you. Zvirongwa zvinoparwa nehurumende yedu yeZimbabwe ndinovimba zvinenge zvakanangana nemayuthi edu ese emuZimbabwe zvisinei kuti bato ripi. Takanangana nechirongwa chedu chemombe dzakaparwa napresident nema500 hectares akadzi achienda kumaprovinces. Chandinofarira ndechekuti maministers of state vanova magovernment resident ministers vari magovernment officials ndo vanga varipo vachipiwa mombe napresident uye vachiudzwa kunzi indai munopa mayouth kumaprovince enyu ma500 vabenefit. And the minister of state wehurumende ndiye anga aripo achiudzwa napresident zvekare kuti muipe mari kumayouth kuti muvaempower nenyaya dzemairrigation nenyaya dzechi, which means program iyi haina kunangana nebato reZANU-PF or bato reMDC Alliance or bato reMDCT, but iprogram yakanangana namayouth edu ese emuZimbabwe. Saka ndokumbira kuti mayouth edu emuZimbabwe ngatibvisei mindset yedu yekufunga kuti every program iri kulonjwa nehurumende yakanangana namayouth eZANU-PF. Tinosarira pazvirongwa zveZANU-PF vamwe vachitoenda mberi. Ngatibatane namaministers edu tifambirana nawo pamwe chete. Ndambotaura program yedu yekutanga ndichitaura kuti Ministry of Agriculture inoonekwa kumusoro kuna Ngungunyanyi kudhuze nekuBorodeo, ndiro yoenda kuBorodeo. Maofisi eZANU-PF ari kuno kuzasi kushowground, which means two separate entities akatosiyana. So isusu semayouth tikaona pane chirongwa chehurumende, let's apply, let's participate. Kuempower bank mayouth ari kutopiwa mari. Ndine mayouth akawanda emapato akasiyana siyana anenge achindibvunza kuti how can we benefit from loans ekuempower bank. Ndichivaudza tichivarefer vachinobatsirwa. Ukaenda kubank haubvunzi kuti wabva kubato ripi, vanongobvunza kuti unoda kurima here, mundo wako uri kupi, une macash flows here, so far wapapi. Woita visit havambobvunzi kuti khadi remusangano riri kupi, whether musangano A musangano B. So semayouth, let's participate and assist our president to ensure that we've achieved the vision 2030 of a mid to upper economy.
Aiwa, tinotenda zvikuru savamchenje, regai ndimbokubataiwo pamuromo so that I can translate for our Ndebele listeners everything that you've just said here. Ziluka ndaba wonke umuntu ongenayo kuhlelo siyakwamukela kuhlelo lethu labasakhulayo. Sithanda ukubonga umnumzana uJohn Muchenje nguyesilayo kuhlelo. Lo ngumuntu ongisakhulayo, ngusomabhizimusi okumsebenzi wokwezokulima. Uke waba okuthiwa ngesikhiwa i-champion farmer kweleZimbabwe. Sithinta udaba lohlelo lwe-National Integrated Youth Program olusungulwe ngumongameli Emmerson Mnangagwa ngoJanuwari kulo mnyaka. Ngimbuzile ngempela umchenje ngalolu hlelo wathi hayi uhlelo lolu lujonge ukuthuthukisa abantu abasakhulayo abakwezokulima. When it starts uhlelo lolu luqale ngoJanuwari, uthi kulabantu aba698 abakhethwe ukuba lelunga lalolu hlelo. Bonke laba abangu698 bazabe bethola inkomo zokulima ukulima. Ushilo ngempela Muchenje ukuthi for those who are not part of the first batch abangakhethwanga ukuba ngamalunga alolu hlelo, who are not part of these 698, kumele bengakhathazeki ngoba labo bazathola ithuba lokuthola inkomo ukuze bayenelise ukulima. Ushilo ngempela ukuthi when these cows that they receive amase bethola inkomo lezi zazala, they're going to give birth, and bona wonke umuntu who's part of this first batch is 698 will get a chance to keep the cows that were given birth. Kodwa yena must now share inkomo leya eyokuqala that he got eyazala ezinye inkomo, so that abanye labo bayenelisa ukuthola ithuba to benefit from uhlelo lolu. Umchenje ngiphinde ngambuza ngempela ukuthi ukuze umuntu ayenelise ukuba lilunga lalolu hlelo kumele abe lezinto ezinjani. Ushilo ngempela ukuthi hayi umuntu kumele abe lolwazi oluthile mayelana ngezokulima ukuze ayenelise ukuba lilunga lalolu hlelo. Ngiphinde ngambuza ngempela ngodaba lwenkohlakalo elizweni ngathi hayi njengoba sibona isikhathi esiningi sizwa inhlelo zikahulumeni ziphazanyiswa ngodaba lwenkohlakalo. Ushilo ngempela ukuthi hayi uZulu kumele ngakhathazeki, kumele athembe ukuthi inhlanganiso yeZAC, iZimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission, hayi uthi abona bakhanya ngani basebenza gadalala ukuqeda lolu dubo lwenkohlakalo. So kumele athembe ukuthi hayi wena njengosakhulayo, if you hear indaba zenkohlakalo uyasho ngempela ukuthi kumele uyobatshela and they will be dealing with everybody accordingly. When we also touched on indaba le ukuthi siyezwa abantu abasakhulayo abaningi bekhala besithi hayi inhlelo ezikahulumende khanya ngani ngesikhathi esiningi azithuthukisa abantu abasakhulayo abayingxenye yebandla leZANU-PF. Uyasho ngempela Umchenje ukuthi hayi yena ngombono wakhe lokho akusilona iqiniso. Inhlelo zikahulumende zijonge ukuthuthukisa wonke umuntu oyisizalwane seZimbabwe, kungelani lokuthi usekela ibandla liphi, kungelani lokuthi usekela ibandla leZANU-PF, iMDC Alliance, iMDC-T, ibandla likaChamisa. Uyasho ngempela ukuthi wonke umuntu kumele akhululeke yenelise azame ukuba ingxenye yalolu hlelo olukhokhelwa uhulumende kaMongameli Emmerson Mnangagwa. So those are some of the sentiments that have been echoed by Mr. John Muchenje Muria, Zimbabwe. Here we're talking about the National Integrated Youth Program. Now, I'm changing back to you as we wrap up this conversation here. I would like you to tell the youth of the nation where they can go for them to find more information pertaining to this program here, the National Integrated Youth Program, and other youth programs that are being led by the government, so that they can find more information and be part of these programs.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hove. In respect to this program for the land, where it has been instructed, where the ministers of state ministers of different provinces been started by the president to make sure that youth benefit in the process. The whole thing can be, information is there at Ministry of Agriculture Youth Desk being led by Mr. Kajengo, and also in the provinces where you can actually go and talk to our provincial agri-tax officers there for the information. Then secondly, in terms of the loans that are there for agricultural purposes, the Empower Bank is there funding the youth programs. You can visit any Empower Bank branch. They will tell you what to do when you want to apply my loans.
Do you have any last words that you'd like to leave for the youth of the nation?
Thank you. My last parting words is, let's see, remove political blinkers when it comes to development. Zimbabwe is our nation. This is our country. This is our birthright. Everyone has an ID and a birth certificate that is produced in Zimbabwe. When it comes to development, let's not segregate our own youth or our own selves because of our affiliation. The president has said he wants to embrace each and every youth from different political views, different political spheres and social. So let's come together. Let's work for our country. Let's work for our nation to ensure that we achieve our vision 2030.
Shout out there to Mr. John Muchenje, who took time out to be with us as we focused on youth empowerment in Zimbabwe. lo mnumzana uJohn Muchenje ongusomabhizinisi asakhulayo okumsebenzi wezokulima. Lapho Muchenje ubethinta indaba ezimayelana nenhlelo zikahulumende ezijonge ukuthuthukisa abatsha elizweni. Umongameli Emmerson Mnangagwa usanda ukuqala olunye uhlelo oluphansi okwesihloko esithi the National Integrated Youth Program olujonge ukuthuthukisa abasakhulayo abakwezokulima. Umchenje ubechasisa okuningi ngempela esithi hayi hambani kugatsha olubona ngezokulima iMinistry of Agriculture, ikhona i-Youth Desk. Uyasho ngempela ukuthi hayi lingahamba kugatsha olubona ngezokulima ku-Youth Desk, lilakho ukuthola ulwazi oluthile ngalolu hlelo. Wonke umuntu ulakho ukungena kuhlelo lolu, kodwa kumele ube lolwazi oluthile mayelana ngezokulima. But whilst focusing on the youth empowerment in Zimbabwe, speaking at last year's International Youth Day commemorations, Zimbabwe's Minister, Honorable Kirsty Coventry, echoed similar sentiments to those of Mr. John Muchenje. Now, Honorable Kirsty Coventry took this opportunity to reinforce the idea that Zimbabwe is open for business, and of course, there's several programs that are government-led that are available to the youth of the nation, especially the youth in agriculture. Let's hear more about from what Honorable Kirsty Coventry had to say as she was speaking on these youth empowerment programs.
So what is Zimbabwe and what is the government doing? Well, right now, we know that the government has low-hanging fruit, and that we are wanting to poise and catapult the economy through exciting initiatives and innovations that are spearheaded through and by my ministry and the ministry responsible for lands and agriculture, as well as different financial institutions. So what have we done? Well, we've been listening to what the lacking areas are, so lack of access to land, lack of finance, and we've looked at those to say, how do we turn those into opportunities? And we have started by having new initiatives through the Empower Bank. We've started those initiatives through the youth focal desks. We've started by the review of the national policy, which has led to the promulgation of the National Youth Act. All of these things have come from an opportunity that we've seen to be something that is lacking into an opportunity that will benefit youth. So there are existing opportunities to empower youth at different stages of the agricultural value chain. And by harnessing increasing new technologies and approaches, we will be able to create new jobs, more jobs, increased food production, and we would be able to produce a less reliance on food imports.
Well, Amuri Zimbabwe, those were sentiments by Honorable Kirsty Coventry. They're focusing on youth empowerment in Zimbabwe. The Youth Empowerment Bank ikona lapho abantu abasakhulayo can get access to loans to empower amabhizinisi abo ikakhulukazi laba abakwezokulima. So sithanda ukubonga John Muchenje kanye lo Honorable Kirsty Coventry for those sentiments. However, sentiments passed by Mr. Muchenje and of course Honorable Kirsty Coventry are debated by a lot of young people in Zimbabwe. Amongst them is Nyasha Gwazemba, a young activist that we reached out to, that I got to speak to via telephone about youth empowerment in Zimbabwe. Now, Mr. Gwazemba particularly debates and argues that a lot of these sentiments passed by Honorable Kirsty Coventry and, of course, Mr. Muchenje are incorrect. Not a lot of people or a youth, to be particular, have access to these government-led programs. Let's head over to a telephone conversation that I had with Nyasha Gwazemba as he explains more pertaining to his thoughts about youth empowerment in Zimbabwe.
Ngiyabonga Mr. Hove njengomuntu olwela amalungelo abatsha mina ukubona kwami kwezokulima kahle kathesi elizweni lakithi kwezokulima sisasesikhathini sokuthi abantu kusakhethwa umhlabathi usaphiwa ebantwini aba-aligned abaqondane lebandla leZANU-PF. Abanye ama-youth awakakhanyelwa akananzwa in terms of ukunikwa umhlabathi ukuthi hayi sikhanyele ukuthi hayi njengoba sinomhlabathi umhlabathi kawuphiwe wonke umyouth oseZimbabwe but kathesi lo mhlabathi uphiwa uqondane lebandla leZANU-PF. Abantu abatsha basakhethekile abakhanyelwa nxa kubuya kwezokulima kuyathiwa hayi le generation ngabantu bamafoni, le generation ngabantu abakwazi ngezombusazwe, so kucina kuthatha umhlabathi lwana oyabe uvela uthethwe kwabalungu, umhlabathi lwana uphiwe abadala kumbe uphiwe abantu abasakela ibandla kumbe ngithi abasupporta ibandla leZANU-PF. So kuleyo ndaba kwezokulima njalo lezikhundla zangikhona elizweni lakithi abantu abatsha abakakhanyelwa. Thina elizweni lakithi abantu abatsha asikananzelelwa ezikhundleni kumbe engatsheni ezitshiyeneyo. Kusasefakwa abantu abadala, kusafakwa umuntu leminyaka efika o40 kumbe o60 o70 kube kuthiwa nguMinister of Information and Publicity, ngabantu abamelele ama-youth labo. Asikananzelelwa kulezi amalungelo ethu akakananzelelwa njalo kasikakhanyelwa ukuthi sifakwe kulezo zikhundla, but siyakhala ukuthi uhulumende wethu nje atshintshe ingqondo, aqalise ukurecognize ama-youth asifake lathi engatsheni lezo ezitshiyetshiyeneyo, kungabi kukhetha ukuthi ngabantu beZANU kumbe abantu be-MDC kumbe ngabantu abamele ibandla elinje, but kufakwe umuntu on basis of merit yokuthi hayi lo muntu umsebenzi lo uyawukwanisa.
Mnumzana Gwazemba, wathi ngiqale ngokukubonga ngokungena kuhlelo lwethu lwabasakhulayo. I want to focus on some sentiments that have been echoed by President Emmerson Mnangagwa's government okumayelana ngokuthuthukiswa kwabantu abasakhulayo elizweni. Uhulumende kaMongameli Emmerson Mnangagwa yena uthi usebenza gadalala ukuthuthukisa abantu abasakhulayo, ikakhulukazi laba abakwezokulima. Uphinde wathi ulenhlelo eziningi ezitshiyeneyo ezijonge ukuthuthukisa abantu abasakhulayo. For example, ibhanga Youth Empowerment Bank lona lijonge ukunikeza abantu abasakhulayo kakhulukazi abakwezokulima imali zokuthi bayenelise ukuthuthukisa inhlelo zabo. Uphinde wathi kulezinye inhlelo ezikhona elizweni ezijonge ukuthuthukisa intsha abakwezokulima. Inhlelo lezi zimayelana ngokuthi abantu abasakhulayo bayenelise ukuthola inhlabathi or amaplazi ukuze bayenelise ukulima. Njengosakhulayo okumsebenzi wokulwela amalungelo oluntu, ukubona njani lokho? Awusitshela umbono wakho.
Akula nto enjalo eyenza uhulumende wethu. I-Empowerment Bank, ibhenki enika abantu imali, but ama-youth khonakala nje ngikuthi ukuthi abantu kusakhethwa ukuthi hayi lo umele ibandla leZANU-PF nguye okumele aphiwe isikhundla, nguye omele aphiwe imali. Kusakhethwa njalo lo hlelo lokuthi abantu baphiwe umhlabathi. Abantu bakithi asikama-youth aka-recognize njalo abakaphiwa lo mhlabathi okuthiwa siyawuphiwa. Umhlabathi lo usasekhethwa, kulabantu nje abakhethwa ukuthi hayi lo ngwebandla leZANU, lo ngwebandla umele iZANU, lo ngumsihlobo sikamongameli, lesi isihlobo sikabani bani weZANU, yibo abantu abaphiwa umhlabathi. Ngingaqamba nje ngithi kababuye abantu ama-youth athi bona sebephiwe umhlabathi kathesi. The government is not recognizing the youth. They are not giving us land. Land yangikhona le mali ama-bank loans. If you go to ama-banks now, abanika ama-youth loans. Bayakutshela ngento eyenzakala ngezikhathi zikaMgaba ukuthi hayi sayisanika ama-youth iloni, ama-youth abaleka benza so, bathatha imali yana bayidla, benza so. So ngezikhathi lezi asika-recognizewa ukuthi siphiwe lowo mhlabathi nguhulumende wethu. Njalo ama-programs abawatshoyo lawa nguhulumende wethu uMr Mnangagwa ukuthi yena ulama-programs anjalo awenza, uwenzela ngaphi? Ngoba thina sikayiboni le empowerment kuma-youth. Kobulawayo akula ma-youth asekaphiwa i-empowerment. Akula ama-youth onalawa kobulawayo asekaphiwa i-empowerment.
Ngiyasho ukuthi ngikubamba umlomo so that I translate for our Shona and English speakers for them to understand your sentiments. So Zimbabwe Mushe, thank you so much. Joining us is Nyasha Gwazemba. If you are tuning in right now, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us. On the line, we have Nyasha Gwazemba, a youth rights activist. We're focusing on youth empowerment in Zimbabwe, talking about several different initiatives that are led by President Emerson Mnangagwa's government that target empowering the youth of the nation. And now, in my conversation with Mr. Gwazemba here, he has uttered several sentiments, amongst them being, in his opinion, youth are not empowered in Zimbabwe, especially those within the agricultural sectors. He predominantly focuses on the fact that, in his opinion, a lot of youth empowerment programs that are government-led have only been benefiting people who are either politically affiliated with ZANU-PF or war veterans who are linked to ZANU-PF, and of course senior government officials. So that, in his opinion, those are the young people who are benefiting from government programs, especially the Youth Empowerment Bank that he talks about. Now, as we wrap up here, let me go back to Mr. Gwazemba so that he can pass his last sentiments, and then we can wrap up a conversation. Mnumzana Gwazemba, I'm now back at you, Lapha Mnumzana. Isikhathi sesidlule mangoyi bafo bengicela ukuthi ugqibe ingxoxo yethu ngokuphosela amazwi akho okugcina kwabatsha and to all our listeners paying attention to ingxoxo yethu manje.
Ngizagqiba ngokuthi ngama youth wonke jikelele iAfrica yonke, iZimbabwe yonke, umthwakazi wonke. Ngikhulume ngithi singalahli ithemba ngokuthi sifelwe. Ilizwe lakithi kuzalunga, sizafika isikhathi sokuthi into zilunge. Asibambane nini njengama youth, silungisise ilizwe lakithi, sibe lenqubekela phambili, sibe lama youth that have purpose, ama youth abambe economy yelizwe, ama youth empower, aba lama banki, abe lama business. Sibambane, sithandane, njalo sisebenzele, sithuthukise nini ilizwe lakithi ke leZimbabwe. Of course kathesi situation ngabe inzima, kodwa kasibambane nini ma youth, njalo ilizwe lethu liqhubekele phambili, kube mnandi, uqhakathekile kuleli lizwe, ilizwe lethu liqhubekele phambili, sibambane sakhe amabhizimusi amahle. Ngiyabonga.
Well, Zulukandaba sithanda ukubonga uNyasha Gwazemba ngokungena kuhlelo lwethu labasakhulayo muri eZimbabwe, amangamuchinzwa ewechidiki anorwira kodzero dzevechidiki munyika, achitipawo maondro ake nezvenyaya yekusimudzirwa kwevechidiki munyika. Tipewo maondro enyu muri eZimbabwe. vaGwazemba vanoti aiwa zviri kutaurwa navamuchenje pamwe chete naHonorable Kirsty Coventry achisi chokwadi. Imi munozvionawo sei? Nyorai maondro enyu papeji redu reVOA Shona pamwe chete paVOA Studio 7. Zulukandaba wonke umuntu engenayo kuhlelo, nilalele uhlelo lwethu labasakhulayo. You're tuned into LiveTalk-The Connection, and I'm your host, Mike Hove. Well, muri Zimbabwe, shout out to Mr. Tidarira Swa Indarira Just Signal there, partnering up with the Roots Africa for that COVID-19 message. Zulukandaba, as we reach as we reach an end of our program, I want to head over to a conversation that we had with the youth coordinator under the Ministry of Agriculture Youth Desk, Mr. Nicholas Kajengo, who talks to us more about youth empowerment in Zimbabwe and, of course, what government is doing to empower youth in agriculture. Let's head over to that conversation that I had with Mr. Kajengo over the telephone.
Thank you very much, Brother Hove. The theme of the National this day for the year 2021 speaks a lot about the opportunities that are in existence in as far as youth in agriculture are concerned, because actually the opportunities are also centered on the food system itself. Basically, what we need to understand before I explain my brother and the way of the flag is that we need to understand what food systems are. Food system, effectively, we are talking about the sum of hectares and interactions along the food value chain, from input supply and production of crops, livestock, fish, and other agricultural commodities to transportation, processing, retailing, wholesaling, and preparation of food to consumption and disposal. From this clarity, from this definition, from this explanation, it's now clear that agriculture is broader. From its entire value chain, there are vast opportunities for the young people that have been existing, that are existing, and that will remain existing.
Now, Mr. Kajengo, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here. I want to focus here on these opportunities that you talk about. I've spoken to some youth who say that they've faced several challenges, especially when it comes to accessing land in Zimbabwe. They're of the opinion that young people who are receiving land in Zimbabwe, in most cases, are somehow politically affiliated with ZANU-PF. Now, with that in mind, speak to us more about these opportunities that you are referring to in particular.
Okay, thank you very much. I think, as I said, if you are talking of food system in agriculture, we are talking of the value chain that exists in the agriculture itself. Firstly, we talk of land. Land can be availed through joint ventures, through applying it through various ways. It can be communal. It can be through those through the Ministry of Land and Agriculture, A1, A2, among others. Besides that, we urge and we are seeing young people taking part in the value chain. A lot of young people are involved in the transportation of agricultural produce. They are involved in the processing. They are involved in the retailing, wholesaling, preparation of food consumption, and of course, to disposal. This means that there are vast of opportunities for those who want to be employed or to have the opportunities under the agricultural sector.
Now, Mr. Kajengo, you talked about where people can find land in Zimbabwe. Could you be a little more specific in that circumstance? Because there's a lot of young people who are wondering, how can they access land in Zimbabwe?
Okay. Basically, what we all want to understand is that land, we've got various models. We've got communal land. Communal land is acquired through local authorities. Local authorities referring to traditional leaders, village heads, chiefs, and headmen. These are the ones who are responsible. They are the ones who are in charge of the communal land. Secondly, we have got the land that is acquired through the ministry responsible for land. This includes A1, the A2. Under these various schemes or models, anyone can apply freely through districts, through provinces, because the land actually is acquired after one is applied formally through districts. Because at district level, there is a committee that decides, that looks into application. The committee at district level is chaired by DDC, District Development Coordinator. The same is applicable at provincial level, where the Minister of State is the chairperson of the provincial level committee. So it's up to the provincial level committee, it's up to the district committee to decide who gets land. However, in terms of application, in terms of acquisition, every Zimbabwean has got equitable right and, of course, access to acquire the land, because the land is applied for and availed to any Zimbabwean, to any applicant, irrespective of whatever sphere of life, whether it is political, social, or economic sphere, as long as one has got passion, ability, capability, and willing to acquire land, as long as the land is there, as long as the application of the applicant is decided and of course agreed by the committee, then one can acquire the land. That is the process, that is the procedure, and there is no any shortcut to that.
Aiwa, takunzwai zvakanaka vakajengo, tinotenda zvikurusa nekuva nesu pano pachirongwa chedu chevechidiki. Ngatimbozeyai nyaya nerurimi rwaamai tisati tapeta hurukuro yedu. Tamboita hurukuro nevechidiki vakasiyana-siyana. Kune vamwe vane maondero ekuti munyika muna mikana yakawanda mukusimudzira vechidiki, uyezve vanoti avo vanoda kuita zvokurima havasi kuwana minda sezvamataura imi. Vabata zvekare nyaya yebhanga reEmpowerment Bank vachiti aiwa, bhanga iri vazhinji vechidiki havasi kuwana mari kubva kune bhanga iri. Vazhinji vavanoziva vari kuwana mari vanodyidzana nebato reZANU-PF. Tipeiwo maondero enyu nezvemashoko aya.
Maita basa, maita zvakanaka. Chokwadi chiripo ndechekuti vechidiki munyaya dzeagriculture, munyaya dzekurima, vane mukana wakakura zvikuru. Sezvangatichitaura nerurimi rwechirungu kuti muagriculture mune mukana wekuti vanogona kuwana minda iyoyo, vanokwanisa kupinda muvalue chain munyaya dzetransport muagriculture, munyaya dzekuprocesawo, munyaya dzekutenga nekutengesa zvinowanikwa mukurima. Uye zvakare panyaya yamataura yakakosha nyaya yeminda. Minda ine mhando dzakasiyana. Minda inogona kuwanika kuburikidza nemasabhuku nemadzishe. Minda yerudzi urworwo harutongwi nebazi reagriculture, asi kuti zvinotongwa nemadzishe nemasabhuku. Ivayo vanoenda kwavari, vanotaura navo nenzira yakanaka. Ivo masabhuku nemadzishe vane mhinduro yakazara maringe nekuti minda yekumakomuna yekumarezerva ingawanike sei. Chepiri, tine minda yatinoti isusu minda yemaresettlement, ma-A1 ma-A2. Minda iyi inowanika kuburikidza nekuti munhu anonyorera kana kuti anoita yatinati muchirungu application, anotsvaga munda through madistricts ake nemaprovince. Padistrict vanotsvaga mafomu kumaofisi eministry of land padistrict ipapo, vanosvika mafomu yavo vachibatsirwa nevarimisi vedu vekumadistrict kana kumaprovince. Asi zvinenge zvaakukomiti yepadistrict. Komiti yepadistrict inotungamirwa namujiti DDC. Mujiti haashandi ari wega, anoshanda nemakurukota ake padistrict ipapo, vanosanganisira vashandi mubazi rekurima nevamwe vashandi vehurumende vane chokuita nenyaya idzodzi. Zvimwe chete paprovince. Paprovincewo zvakare unokwanisa kuisa application directly kuprovince. Kuprovince kune komiti inenge iriko zvakare. Gurukota rehurumende redunhu ndo rinenge richinamira urongwa ihwo, rishandawo zvakare nekomiti yosaisawo vanomirira vechidiki vanenge varimo mukomiti imomo, vanomirira vanhu vehondo vanenge vari mukomiti imomo. Saka inenge iri komiti inenge ine maziso akawanda anenge achitarisa mativi ose akakosha munyaya dzekurima, munyaya dzebudiriro. Saka shoko randopa nderekuti land inoaplaiwa nemwana wese weZimbabwe nemunhu wese anoona sekuti akakodzera kunge achirarama munyaya dzekurima.
All right then, Muri Zimbabwe, shout out to Mr. Nikros Kajengo for taking time out to be with us. And also thank you to Mr. John Muchenje, Banyelo Nyasha Gwazemba. Muri Zimbabwe, we've reached an end of our program tonight. Once again, shout out to all my guests for joining us. And of course, you, our loyal listeners, that were with us for the past hour. At Mike Hove _ is my Twitter username and Instagram username. So for those that are looking to catch up with me, or those that are looking to be guests, feel free to reach out to me via Twitter and Instagram. Muri Zimbabwe isikhathi sami yiso sesidliwe mangoyitha svika kumagume echirongwa chedu chanhasi. Ngatisanganei pano pachirongwa chedu chevechidiki, same time, same place, and next week. Anokoneka ine mfaro, Oliver Lisa ingenjabulo, igama nguMike Hove, tswakazo muhle, Zimbabwe muhle. Bye bye.